So a lot of you are anticipating this new documentary because it's shining a light on what happened to popular fitness guru Richard Simmons. It's called TMZ Investigates Whatever Happened to Richard Simmons, and it aired last night on Fox. Richard hasn't been seen in public since 2014. Now, the doc debunks theories that he was being held hostage by his housekeeper or transitioning into a woman. Instead, it suggests that Richard, who is 74, had some deep insecurities about his public image. He battled obesity for years before he became known for workout videos like Sweat Into the Oldies. And in the doc, Suzanne Summers reveals Richard didn't even want to appear with her on Larry King. Watch.
He didn't want to be on the show with me, and I said, why? And he said, she'll make fun of me, and that's not my style anyway. I never make fun of anybody. But that's when I realized, oh, a little insecurity has gotten in there. I liked him. I was always so surprised when he thought I'd make fun of him. But doesn't that show you he's got like a heart ache? Something's broken inside?
Wow. And in the end, the doc reveals his disappearance was largely related to knee injuries, and he's become a recluse because he doesn't want to be remembered as a frail guy, something he talked about when he called into the Today Show back in 2016. Take a listen to what he said.
I just sort of wanted to be a little bit of a loner for a while. You know, I had hurt my knee, Savannah, and I had some problems with it. And then the other knee started to give me trouble. Because I've taught like thousands and thousands of classes. And, you know, right now I just want to sort of, you know, just take care of me.
Wow. What do you think about this? You're shaking your head.
Well, just watching him dance, it's such a cultural icon growing up, right? And I almost forgot about what happened to Richard Simmons. And I'm the first person to say I don't like when people make documentaries or write books about someone without their permission. But in this, I'm conflicted because it kind of answers some questions. What did happen to him? And if there are some answers in this documentary, I hope Richard watched it, approves it, at least you hear from him. But he was just such a good guy. I got a chance to meet him one time. Yeah. You know the Sweat Into the Oldies?
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, and you could go to that class.
Right, in Beverly Hills. We talked about it.
Did you ever go?
No, but I used to drive by and I would peek in the window, but you couldn't even see in the window because they were all mirrored glass.
So my friend Bob was friends with him. Long story short, it's embarrassing.
This is the treat?
This is the treat. This is the sour treat. Some fan sent this in.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Me and Jordan.
You have your shirt off?
Richard Simmons made me take my shirt off. What are you going to say? No?
You're the only person without a shirt on.
Well, he made me take it off. There, that's me before with Jordan and my buddy Bob. But yeah, it was such a good time. He was such a great guy. So this documentary, I'm just interested because he was such a big part of it.
Wait, when was this? How long ago would you say?
I would say maybe 7 years ago.
That's not that long ago.
Maybe more.
Wow.
Yeah. When I was in LA,
nice?
Obviously. Yeah. And people had so much fun in there.
I love that Jeff is the only one without a shirt.
I did notice that the first time.
Listen, I didn't take Richard Simmons like take it off.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I have my shirt. I just like that. You know, Sam, you felt like you needed to share your story. Jeff was like, I danced with my video, and you were like, I drove by once.
Yeah, I drove by. Well, Tori, speaking of cars, I guess Tori, she's not here right now, but I guess there's a photo of her like. There he is. Look, he's in his car. She like stopped him in the middle of the street and was like, Richard. And
well, she claims that he stopped her.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. That's the story, isn't that what she said?
Of course she did.
What do you think about him wanting to, because according to the people that know him best, they say that he wanted to end his career on top and for people to remember him as the legacy that we all know him as, and that he does leave his house. It's just that we would never recognize him. What do you think about that?
I mean, this is a person with a lot on his shoulders. I mean, before there was a million different kinds of ways to lose weight, and you could do Peloton and all this. He was like the way that the average Americans lost weight. My grandmother used to buy his tapes. Like he was the nation's leading kind of fitness guru, and I think the pressure of having so many people write in, you know, I lost weight because of you.
Right.
I was able to walk down the aisle with my daughter because of you. Like, you carry that. It's a good thing, but it's also a bad thing because now you have that pressure of keeping up a body image. And I am not going to talk about body image because, Erica, you know all too well about like what the pressure is internally and externally if 300 million Americans are depending on you to stay in shape to keep them motivated.
Right. Well, I've never had 300 million Americans
290.
depend on me, but yes, I did fitness competitions for a while. I don't know. That to me doesn't really. It's not in the same vein. But what I will say is that Richard Simmons was someone who was a testimony teacher to so many people, and I think when we think of fame, we think of people actively seeking out to have their name in lights, to have people know their name, and I think that there are certain people who are just anointed into that role based on the life that they live. And Richard Simmons, to me, is one of those people. And if he decided that it was too much for him to continue on this path, I think we respect that decision and leave the man alone.
Agreed. He's done his time.
Yes.
Come on. Speaking with that same theme, Harry Styles is speaking out about the online cruelty surrounding his relationship with Olivia Wilde. Harry sat down with Rolling Stone magazine where he addressed the hate directed at Olivia over their 10-year age difference, or the fact that she left her longtime partner, Jason Sudeikis, for him. The two started dating in 2020 after meeting on the set of her upcoming movie, Don't Worry, Darling. Olivia, who was also interviewed, called the comments, quote, toxic negativity. Harry also said he is guarded about his privacy and said he never talks about his private life publicly, and said he doesn't spend time correcting incorrect versions of his life in the press. That sounds exhausting.
Yeah. In layman's terms, he said, whatever y'all think of me is none of my business. And then he's moving on with his life.
It takes a lot of courage because, I would want to correct any inaccuracies about me.
But why?
I don't know why. That's something that I need to, I guess, work on. It should only matter what I think, right? But I care what other people think.
But don't you think there's something to, I'm sorry, but don't you think there's something to something negative coming out about you from a negative source is the same as something positive coming out about you from a positive source?
Yeah, I just know me. It would bother me. I look up to him. I mean, because of that very reason, I wish I had that freedom to be like,
I don't know if that's something that you should correct. It's something that bothers me. I think I definitely took a break from social media, and it's because I had to admit that it did bother me. And it wasn't what people said about me, but it would be there was a time where Erica went viral for something. And I remember I was just looking, I was like, wow, look at a lot of views. And I read a couple comments, because I wasn't in it. I didn't say a word. You were doing Erica. And you were. It's a verb now. And, honestly, I remember looking at the comments, and there were a lot of people like, look at this black man not supporting his sister. Right. It's like, what am I supposed to overtalk her? Because if I overtalked you, then I would be being misogynist.
Right.
It's just, I'm just standing here in awe of this human being. But the perspective, listening to somebody smart talk about something I'm interested in. But no matter what is happening, everybody's going to have their angles because they were fans of Erica. When I went viral, I remember there was a picture of Jeff.
And me.
Yes. Yeah, and Jeff.
They said they thought we were against you.
Right, and I could tell from the thing, Jeff was looking at a time cue because
if the camera's on me here, I'm looking off right at, there's a camera right there now. I'm looking at that. And people are like, Sam and Jeff don't care what you say.
Yeah, because it's still a photo. You can make it whatever. So it is hurtful because I love you guys like I don't love anybody else. So it's hurtful, and I feel like people are going after you or people are coming after me for something that's not happening, so I get it.
Well, I think that's on those people, right? And I've went down a long, hard road with this because, we kind of stepped into the spotlight like that after Big Brother, and that was 13 years ago. So there's great
you
things.
Stepped out of the door.
Yes.
You walked out of a door and you were famous.
Exactly.
Yes.
So that was tough to tackle, and it was great. You get love and people love you. And I would, honest, I have so much more love than I do hate, and it's a beautiful thing. But the ones that hate you are the ones that you stick on, right? Yeah. And when these celebrities get to a certain point, they don't need that. Everyone's like, I know who Jonah Hill is. I know who Harry Styles is. I'm going to hire them. But when you're nobody like me and you get a stink on you and enough people write in, then you can't get jobs. They're like, listen, man, I just can't hire you because of this. So it is a thing.
Right.
But these people want some sort of recognition for being noticed. So they'll say the meanest things to you just so they get a response out of you. But we need to focus more, especially me, I'm talking to myself, how many people love me and how many people are there to support all of us. We get their comments coming in right now of how much they love the show. Yep. So thank all of you for all the love and support. We need to focus more on that.
Absolutely.
Well said. Yeah. Well said, Jeff.
I think Jeff's about to announce his candidacy.
I'm all in. I support it. Okay, so if you watch the new Game of Thrones prequel, House of the Dragon, on Sunday night, you weren't alone. The HBO Max show drew 10 million viewers on Sunday night alone, which is the largest audience of any new original series in HBO's history. Now, as we mentioned, HBO Max crashed for thousands of viewers using Fire TV. But check this out, you guys. This is crazy. It's an apartment in New York City, the whole building. As you can see, most of the people in the complex are watching the show at the same time.
It's
like a light show.
Wow, that's real?
That's so cool. Yes.
That's a throwback to the 80s and 90s, back before
so
even
cool.
before DVR and TiVo or whatever the first ones were.
The Super Bowl, whatever.
Yeah, there was appointment TV where you could not talk the next day.
They haven't done the Super Bowl since the 80s.
No, it's like
what I'm saying is there are very few times in 2022 where everybody's watching the exact same thing at the exact same time. That is not a sporting event.
But how short our memories are, because flashback to the apparently 80s and 90s, that's what a lot of us were doing in quarantine. Yes, they were streaming services, but we were picking it up right as it dropped and then talking about it the next day. I haven't had conversations about something that dropped the night before in 10 years before quarantine, because everyone was we were hungry for the next episode. Right. It came out last night. Did you watch it? Did you watch it? Did you watch it? And it looked like that.
Right.
I just felt like that's the way you talk to your coworkers. When you had small talk, I know you hate small talk. If it's not about the weather, you'd be like, hey, did you see the Cosby Show last night?
I like small talk.
Yeah, you said it always goes to the weather, and I heard you. We were in the hallway a week ago.
Yeah.
And you were talking to somebody about the weather, and I was I heard. I mean, it wasn't rude. You were having.
Wait, I talked about the weather back there?
Yeah, no, this is last week, but we had talked about small talk last week.
What's wrong with talking about the weather?
It's fine. But Jeff said that's
Kelly
his go-to.
Ronan in the bathroom.
But that's you have nothing to talk about.
We had other things to talk about.
Sam's getting to our bathroom chats, please.
It's a gorgeous day outside right now.
Yeah, but that's when it's
That's not weather, that's gratitude.
Oh, thank you, Erica.
See, that was nicer.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that to somebody. When someone's like, hey, man, it's beautiful. I'm like, you know what? It's not even weather. It's gratitude. Good talking to you.
And he summed it up like a politician. Perfect.